northern Germany, sometime around 1250 BC. On the banks of the languid Tollense River, a landscape still recovering from the last ice age, an unimaginable scene unfolds. Not a skirmish or a border raid, but a clash of civilizations. A titanic battle that will forever change the Bronze Age world. Historians and archaeologists have scoured this valley for answers. Each fragment of shattered bronze, each bone bearing the grim scars of ancient weapons provides another crucial piece of the puzzle. But beneath the battlefield's grim legacy lies a deeper story, a narrative of ambition, trade, shifting allegiances, and ultimately, brutal conflict. This is the Battle of Tollense Valley. It's a tale etched not in history books but in the very earth itself. A hidden chapter of human history, its echoes still resonate through time. Picture a world in a constant state of flux. The Bronze Age, roughly 3300 to 1200 BC, was a time of extraordinary innovation. Metalworking revolutionized daily life, and the dawn of long-distance trade brought diverse cultures and exotic materials into contact. From the windswept coasts of the Baltic to the sun-drenched shores of the Mediterranean, powerful cities arose, fueled by competition and an unquenchable thirst for resources. Yet this was also an era of volatility and simmering tensions. The delicate balance of power within the Bronze Age world was fragile. In Central Europe, where the Tollense Valley lies, an uneasy equilibrium prevailed. Smaller communities and petty chiefdoms held sway, their influence limited and localized. However, that was about to change. Ambitious chieftains, their ranks swelling with restless young warriors, sought to exert dominance. Control of resources, trade routes, fertile land, precious metal deposits, became a vital ingredient in this ruthless Game of Thrones. Against this simmering backdrop, the stage was set for a conflict that would dwarf all that came before. While the exact location of the valley might seem remote today, during the Bronze Age, it was positioned at the crux of a network of vital trade arteries. To the north, precious amber, fossilized resin prized for its beauty and perceived mystical properties, made its way along the Baltic coast. To the south, tin, crucial for the production of true bronze, was likely sourced from deposits as far as modern-day Cornwall. Copper flowed from mountain mines deeper in the continent. Control of these resources were critical to holding on to power. It attracted ambitious warlords and skilled artisans alike, eager to exploit this newfound potential. Emerging centers of life sprouted along these trade routes. Larger, more complex societies started to take shape, forging intricate networks of diplomacy and rivalry. We may never know their true names, yet archaeology speaks of their existence. In the regions surrounding the Tollense Valley, evidence of fortified settlements with impressive earthworks tell of growing anxiety and consolidation of power. Rich grave goods hinting at far-flung trade connections, Nordic amber alongside Mediterranean glass beads, whisper tales of alliances, built and eventually broken. The seeds of future conflict were already sown. Yet trade brought far more than mere commodities. Skilled artisans traveled extensively, leaving a trail of shared technology and craftsmanship. Swords from distant lands could be found adorning local chiefs, and foreign fighting techniques could have filtered through warrior traditions. This intermingling was far from harmonious. Think of the Bronze Age not as a monolithic whole, but a patchwork of distinct cultural groups. While they shared elements like metalworking and similar hierarchical structures, they also fiercely clung to their identities. Customs, religious beliefs, even dialects would have set each tribe or chieftaincy apart from the next. This deep-seated sense of the other likely fostered suspicion and rivalry as potential threats from outsiders loomed in every direction. It's important to remember that conflict was an endemic part of Bronze Age life. Tribal raids, skirmishes, disputes over territory and resources would have been commonplace. However, Tollense Valley represents something different, something unprecedented in scale. The archaeological evidence paints a chilling picture. Thousands of warriors drawn from far and wide, converging on this once placid river with one intention: annihilation. The sun would have glinted ominously off countless bronze spearheads and axe blades as the assembled armies converged on the Tollense Valley. Unlike later, highly organized war machines such as the Roman legions, Bronze Age battle lines were likely far more chaotic affairs. Imagine a loose patchwork of tribal warbands, each with its own fighting style, leadership, and perhaps even distinct dialects adding to the disarray. The warriors themselves were far from the uniformed soldiers we picture today. Some may have boasted simple yet sturdy leather armor. Others bore woven tunics, offering less protection but greater flexibility. Status mattered greatly in these days. Chieftains adorned themselves with gleaming bronze helmets or intricate boar tusk adornments, visibly setting themselves apart from their followers. But even the lowliest warrior was a figure to be feared. Weapons recovered from the Tollense site tell a brutal tale. Swords, primarily for thrusting, suggest close-quarters combat. Heavy wooden clubs offer chilling hints of blunt force trauma inflicted with bone-shattering efficiency. Yet perhaps the most devastating weapon in this clash would have been the spear. This wasn't a tool for refined duels, but an instrument of pure carnage. Hurled in volleys for initial devastation or wielded in chaotic melee, the spear offered both brutal reach and horrifying versatility. Remnants of horses and evidence of broken bones tell of another, lesser-known element of Bronze Age battles: the chariots. Not yet organized like later medieval knights, Bronze Age horsemen likely served as harassment, breaking up enemy ranks and driving vulnerable infantry towards their comrades waiting weapons. Imagine the scene: the clash of bronze upon bronze, the hoarse war cries, the acrid smell of fear and sweat hanging heavy over the valley. This was not merely a fight for a river crossing or fertile patch of land, it resembled a desperate struggle for survival. Archaeological analysis points to an appalling level of violence. Injuries range far beyond combat wounds: broken limbs left unhealed, skulls caved in. These aren't marks of warriors who fell honorably on the field. This was slaughter and retribution. Yet even amidst such savagery, glimpses of tactics do emerge. Forensic experts tell tales of fallen archers, struck from behind while in firing positions, proof of flanking maneuvers and attempts at battlefield strategy amidst the melee. Then, just as abruptly as it began, the battle likely subsided. Was it sheer exhaustion or something more calculated? We may never know the exact conclusion. Yet the battlefield's aftermath, frozen in the Tollense mud for millennia, speaks to a chilling reality. The battle's brutal toll wouldn't simply fade with the sunset. In the immediate aftermath of the clash, the valley likely transformed into a gruesome tableau of the unburied dead. This wasn't merely a case of battlefield casualties. There's strong evidence of injured warriors executed with chilling ruthlessness, alongside potential non-combatants who didn't escape the slaughter. For those not lost in the fighting, a new grim reality awaited. With thousands potentially killed, the power structures around the region would experience a violent upheaval. Imagine ambitious rivals taking advantage of the vacuum left by a chieftain's fall, or vengeful survivors from one warband hunting down remnants of their decimated enemy. The conflict likely sent shockwaves across the Bronze Age world. Trade routes disrupted, alliances shattered, and whispers of the bloody Tolense reaching even distant settlements and stirring fears of potential violence. But beyond the immediate chaos, the battle likely played a profound, if tragic, role in how Bronze Age societies developed. Survivors may have carried not just physical scars, but a newfound fear of open conflict on such a colossal scale. Some communities could prioritize defense, further developing sophisticated fortifications and stockpiling weaponry. Others might have sought the safety of larger, more fortified settlements, accelerating the shift towards more complex, urbanized societies. Waves of displaced warriors, artisans, and families were likely set in motion, carrying their skills, fears, and tales of the bloody valley in their wake. The battle might have fueled further innovation and a new drive for cultural identity to distinguish oneself from the specter of such horrifying destruction. Tollense Valley leaves us pondering some unsettling yet crucial questions. Did the bloodshed foster social changes unseen in the archaeological record? Changes in beliefs, attitudes toward aggression, even gender roles as warrior bands lost their men? Was this a unique conflict? Or might further battlefields, perhaps smaller and less well-preserved, lurk undiscovered throughout Europe, proof of broader instability? Uncovering the complete impact of the battle is one of archaeology's enduring quests. For too long, Bronze Age societies were often categorized as primitive, or existing in a state of relative simplicity before the order imposed by classical antiquity. However, Tolense provides stark evidence to the contrary. Let's consider the sheer scale of the conflict. For thousands of warriors to be drawn to this clash reveals logistics and organizational acumen previously unexpected in a pre-literate society. This war likely required long-term planning to gather fighters, perhaps even stockpile provisions and ensure weapons were in a battle-ready state. It hints at a command structure capable of mobilizing forces from distant locations and the ability to unite disparate groups around a singular, if devastating, purpose. The brutal tactics also serve as a sobering reminder. This wasn't warfare driven by concepts of chivalry or valorized combat as we often associate with later historical ages. This was a conflict of survival, and perhaps even extermination. Tolense offers a glimpse into human nature's enduring yet troubling complexities. With painstaking multidisciplinary analysis, archaeologists, geneticists, and forensics experts work to extract new truths. Isotopic studies of teeth may pinpoint geographic origins of the fallen, revealing how far some traveled to meet their end in this ancient conflict. Further DNA analysis promises to illuminate a web of potential kin relations among the dead, potentially shedding light on army composition. This ongoing study stands to the potential hidden beneath the surface, waiting to rewrite our understanding of the past. The Battle of Tollense Valley continues to fascinate and disturb millennia after the last sword blow fell. It's a brutal testament to the complexities of Bronze Age societies, their martial capabilities, and the dark threads of violence woven into the fabric of history. Though some secrets may remain forever buried in the depths of the river valley, its legacy endures. A legacy seen vividly in this conflict. Right over here,